this is Eamonn O'Brien, and you're so welcome to the Reluctant Speakers Club Expert Series. And today we are continuing on the theme of talking about what it takes to create an awesome story. And boy, do I have an awesome guest for you today. All the way from sunny Chicago to sunny Dublin. Yes, can you believe it? We have a summer. Hallelujah. The whole topic today is going to be about stories and how to create more interesting characters. And we have Susan Messing all the way from Chicago, who is the founder of the Annoyance Theatre, and also a founder, excuse me, quite right, and also the I.O.
Well, I'm part of the I.O.
Part of the
in the second
fold as well. It's in Second City. So, listen, expertise in every which direction coming your way in just 1 second. What got you into improv in the first place? How did this happen?
Well, I went to Northwestern University and I was a theater major.
Oh, Wildcats.
What? Yes, go Cats. And discovered I was a horrible actress, but they had a nice loophole that they couldn't kick you out of the building based on a lack of talent. So I persevered doing Shakespeare, Ibsen, and Chekov and ruining it for everyone. And then I discovered something called improv after college, so I got to do whatever I wanted to do, and I would never see it again. So it was a beautiful, ethereal art, and I've committed myself to doing it for 30 years now.
Well, and I'm here to testify that you are awesome as a teacher, so I really appreciate that. So one of the things that we talked about a great deal yesterday is the whole aspect of making more interesting characters. Now, some people kind of do what I call drive-by storytelling, where they don't get into the character. How do you help people to kind of discover a character?
Well, in my sense, in the way that I teach from a very organic perspective. So for me, I start physically, and if I kind of push out my chest, I might discover I'm a pretty asshole kind of a guy, or not. I could also be your prom date, so here's my dress, so I always put a person in a world and see what happens with them, as opposed to I am delineating these characteristics for this human being, and this is my backstory, and da-da-da-da. For me, it's a very organic thing, so I get to discover the human being I'm playing, versus here is a funny character.
Yeah. And tell me, did your background in acting help you to figure out how you could give extra dimension to the story, to the characters that you create?
Yeah, actually, when I first started, improv was kind of your bastard cousin of creation. Now I work at the School of Steppenwolf and DePaul University and the University of Chicago as well, to help actors become improvisers and to help improvisers become actors. Yeah. So everything now is starting to merge together, that you need that joyful immediate creation in your acting work as much as you need to feel professional and at ease on a stage. Yeah.
And if there are 2 or 3 things that you find really makes it helpful for you when you're trying to figure out who the character is, what are they? What's top of mind?
Well, for me to start with, I'll just start with a physical manifestation, even if it's somebody doing this, and I will discover maybe something about this human being that likes to work intricately like this. What kind of human being would do that? And I add more to what exists instead of kind of drop it and come up with something better. I will continue to pursue that and then discover more and more as we add more specificity to what already exists.
And I like that word, specificity. Why is that so important? Because
specificity kills ambiguity. Because when someone says, this is nice, I don't know what this is, and it sure as hell isn't nice. But if I say this carnival cruise is nice, then I already know where I am. I can enjoy exactly where I am. I can enjoy the world around me and add more to it, and that creates organic plot instead of announce it and hope I feel that way. You know what I mean?
I love that.
I don't like proving the thesis as much as discovering what's up with these human beings.
Yeah. And what do you think gets in the way of good characters? So if you think about common mistakes that people make, what would be top?
I think making a stereotypical choice could really be a shame, because I understand in stereotypes there are real elements in there, but people want to watch fully fleshed characters, and people want to learn more about the human beings that are in front of them. They're not interested in just a wacky wash across them. They're not just interested in somebody saying something funny. It's like eating a meal full of Pringles. You'll get full, but you're like, did I get full from a meal full of Pringles?
Yeah.
But if you start with something small and build, it becomes Technicolor, and by the end of the scene, we actually believe these people, which is exciting. And then you get to eliminate them never have to see them again.
Isn't that wonderful? And if there's one bit of advice that you would give to folks who are really trying to create more interesting characters, not just in improv, but in story in general, what would that one top of the list bit of advice be?
Well, first of all, if it's a first-person perspective, as in you, and you're telling a personal story about yourself, you don't have to tell a funny story. You don't get to decide what's funny. Even in this point, at this stage of the game, even though you know you've always gotten a laugh at that point, it doesn't matter. You're there to describe the world around you. So the more you add richness to what already exists, the more you might actually discover what your story is, instead of, I want to tell that story. What if you just described what you were like when you were 7 and discovered what your story was about ultimately, so that if you have a little more patience with yourself in the exploration process, you might end up with something a lot lovelier than sitting down and feverishly writing funny stuff. It might not work as well for you. It's just a potential.
No, you are a mine of information. You're a superstar in this game, and thank you so much for doing this. And thank you also for watching the Reluctant Speakers Club Expert Series. And until the next time, here's to awesome speaking.